Before I start my workout, hello, what's going on YouTube? What's going on? Trying to bring some heat, some great content for you all on this lovely, beautiful Thursday. I meant Wednesday. I never keep up with the days. I just keep going. I don't even keep up with days or dates pretty much that well or great or whatever you may want to say. But I figured to drop a video today, man. It was just on my mind as I was listening to like podcasts and stuff. Something that we all have witnessed or noticed in life. Lying has become the new normal. Well, not even a new normal. It has became normal because people been lying almost forever. And I just noticed, you see the TV shows, you see social media, you see relationships, you hear rap music, and pretty much everything that being shown or what we hearing is all lies. And it's like to a point that we normalize lying than telling the truth. To a point you can't even actually tell someone the truth without them feeling like you're a hater or you making them mad or pissed off with you. And it's like you can sit up here and be cool with someone in a relationship or whatever, and it tends to go very well when you feed in lies in that relationship or friendship. But the moment you tell them their breath stinking, or you tell them things that you see that you feel that they lack at, or things that you may just want to be a best friend and keep it real with them about, it tends to rub them wrong, and y'all may fall out, or they may think you being mean, or they may feel like you being disrespectful, But what's even greater out of this, you know what I'm saying? No matter what, if someone tends to not want to be cool with you anymore after you telling them the truth, or may not even want to look at you the same after telling the truth, the great thing about it is knowing you walking away, if that situation stays or goes, that you kept it real on your end. So, you get great karma from it. You get great things to happen in your life from that, with you keeping it real and honest with people. Just like a situation I was in, with my girl, and I ended up messing with someone else, and I end up admitting and telling her the truth about me dealing with another female. And I was very bold and honest, and I told her, once I tell her, don't hold it against me, or, don't rub it back in my face again, because I'm being honest with you. I could have, not told you the situation or addressed you the situation. I could have just kept it within myself, or not even tell you nothing. And I addressed that to her, letting her know, like, don't hold it against me. I just want to be honest to you and tell you the truth. So I told her, about me dealing with someone else. And, everything was smooth the day I told her, to a point that, she felt some type of way about it. But, eventually we end up, going through the day back to the norm or whatever. And I say like 2 weeks later, or a week later, or probably a couple days later, she ended up rubbing it in my face. And remind you, I have dealt with plenty of women in my life that, when I lied to them, knowing that I'm lying to them, it seemed that everything to go smooth. And, a lot of women, they don't be used to real man neither. It's like, women like to go by, certain ones like to go by you telling them what they want to hear, at that moment, you know what I'm saying, just to make them feel good or boost their ego or whatever. But the moment a woman get a real man that's very honest, it takes her time to get used to it, but she don't really know how to comprehend or deal with an honest guy. So it's like, she rubbed it in my face like a week after that or a couple of days, I don't remember. But, eventually it ended up going away. It just, I had to be a man and let her know, you're going to have to respect my honesty. And at least I was honest to you and everything. And, you know, it took her, a couple days, but she ended up eventually getting used to how I am as a man and how bold I am. And there's a lot of conversations I don't hold in when I'm around my woman. Like I'd have been in certain situations I admitted to women I was talking to a point most people would be like, dang, why you told them that? Or why you tell them that? Or why you address that to them? You could have just lied, or you could have just, fed them lies. And, the world normalized it to a point. They would give you advice in your relationship to, for you to actually, feel that way or make that relationship work. Just like, as well, I'ma not even say relationship, just as well as friendship. You can be cool with one of your homeboys and tell him his breath stink. Like, damn, man, you just gonna say my breath stink? Or, damn, I ain't even, but at the end of the day, if I tell one of my partners their breath stink or that shit some bullshit, I'm just being a true friend. You know what I mean? And the world have normalized you to lie not only in relationships but friendships, you know, social media, um, just, whatever lifestyle you live in, there's a lot of people. I notice there's a lot of people in life that claim to have everything together and living this life. They're balling, they're stunting, they own 3 or 4 mansions, they got a couple of cars and all of that stuff, but on the other flip note, they making it look good and they don't have nothing, you know what I mean? But this world have came a way to lie to people, to a point people will even say they're praying for you or they praying to God for you and things of that nature, but at the whole time, they ain't even praying for you. They just feeding you with words. And it's like the world that we live in, people feeding people egos and, people feeding people personalities with bullshit. You know what I'm saying? So it calls people to be on bullshit type time. I was just sitting thinking this, man. Like, we be so wrapped into things to take care of in life, bills, not only bills, you know what I'm saying, making money so we can pay these bills and, to have food in the refrigerator, as well. We have to work. And I notice in this life, man, we work so much to a point we don't even get time to even self-reveal within ourselves to know what we need to fix. You know what I'm saying? But me personally, I can give a damn if I miss hours or show up late at a job because ain't nobody got my back no more than the Most High, I feel. So I don't worship things that's of this world and I don't put it on a pedestal. To a point I like to self-reveal within myself things I feel like I may have did wrong that I need to change and make right. Just like now personally I'm trying to gain myself spiritually 100%. Even though it's a battle and you know what I'm saying, it ain't easy, you know what I mean? It's like when you get sucked into the world, it's not gonna be a easy fight or easy way of trying to basically do what's right. You know what I'm saying? But once you be able to fight it and go through what you go through as well with fighting it, it's like the more better things start to get. But don't get it wrong. Don't get me wrong. Things that you was once doing is gonna show back up and pay you back a visit. And when you chase spirituality, it's like you wanna, basically live your life to be happiness and, escape the matrix and tap in spiritually to a point that you push away from worldly things and worldly stuff. And like I said, those things gonna pay you back a visit. But that's why you have to, fight. I feel like this life we fight, every day, within ourselves, you know what I'm saying? To a point is some people trying to, you know, get back to being normal, living normal, because I notice a lot of stuff that we do is not normal in life, and a lot of things that we tend to worship and stuff, is not real, it's not the truth. Everything a fairy tale. You think people get so sucked in, wrapped into materialistic and things of this life, not even understanding you can't even take that with you. And even if you do gain that, it still don't bring happiness. So, I feel like living in the truth and not living in the lie of this world, because the lies have became normal. It's like you have to deprogram to reprogram, and you reprogram your brain to just think basically different things and live a different way and think differently, man. We've been so wrapped into this life because, oh, well, the reason why I lie because, I don't want to get my heart broke. Or the reason why I lie is because, I feel like I want to get this amount of respect from the world because such and such said if you do this, then that makes you real. So, everybody want to live up this image that's not real, and it makes them lose the real identity of themselves, man, to a point that they push themselves farther out of being someone else. Like I said in my videos, and like I have said before, man, robots, are not coming. They are already here because people are programmed. We under a program, and people have became a lot programmed to a lot of things in his life that's not normal, man, and it makes them look like bots out here. You know what I mean? But it's like, be the person to normalize honesty, and you get to feel better, you get to sleep better. A lot of people that's on demon time, they can't even sleep at night. So what they do, they tend to drugs. They feel like it doesn't work because God don't actually give them that immediately blessing that they want. They feel like the way the world programmed them, you get this fast. Live fast, die young. You get this fast. If you get this fast, you sell your soul, and not even understanding you ain't doing that by opening up and inviting demons in and falling away from this true way of living in life. I was just thinking today, as I was working, like, man, I'm just finna, certain days go to the park and just sit there and meditate and, talk to the Most High and spiritually gain my power within me to not get sucked into this matrix way of living. So many people working to a point they're not getting no time to enjoy themselves. And when they do have that time for themselves, they go ahead and, get on social media. And I can only imagine through people time, or I know they give you like a time on your phone that show you how long you've been on social media, or how long you've been watching YouTube or social media. To a point, a lot of people get to watching those things, but not even watching themselves. And it's like they getting snatched, their spirit getting snatched into these devices, and they living other people's life. They're not living the truth. They're living other people's life instead of their own life, man. And, we got to live in the true meaning of life. But, like I was saying, I was just thinking to myself, like, I'm about to start going, you know, to these parts and meditate and talk to God and, you know, self-reveal myself, work on myself, change habits of mine. The only thing I'm battling within myself is, of course, you know what I mean. I'm under temptation like every other human, but I'm at a battle with the way I eat. I'm at a battle with, you know what I'm saying. I wouldn't say lust because I've been doing retention, which is great, and is what's even more better, brothers. You having a woman to accept what you doing with your practice. Like, man, my girl haven't had sex. What? Shoot, it's going on. Heck, it's maybe going on 2 months now. You know what I mean? But other than that, you know what I'm saying? The beauty of it, having a woman to accept your patience in life and accept what you trying to do in life instead of being a person to, have a problem with it, or, I feel, have a solution for everything, feeling like this how you should live or this what you should do. Is a blessing to have a woman to accept you for who you are and ride it out with you. You know what I'm saying? That makes this journey easy as well. Like you and your lady giving each other space. Like, man, my girl don't even hang out a lot. We focusing on trying to make things happen within ourselves and make things happen within his life to get things accomplished, with her taking care of her kids as well, making their life better, and me, as well, taking care of my kids, wanting to make their life better lives and stuff like that. But, it's just a blessing on this journey to have people that you can vibrate with, and it can be a higher vibration and no negative going on, but I ain't gonna make this video long. About to get to it, do my workout, or get to it and keep this life flowing and going, man. But yeah, I just wanted to make a video saying, be you, do yourself. Don't fall into the traps of this world living in a lie. The things we see is not true. These rappers that's telling you that they're selling drugs, they're not. They selling songs. These rappers that's telling you that they in the trenches, they're not. They going to their big mentions. These women that's telling you take a nigga money and run off with his money and, get every bit of dollar from him. They're, for one, got their own money and establish their own money, and they even making money off giving you this bullshit ass message and way of life of living that's not even real. You know what I mean? Nothing come from that but pain, hurt. Hell, sisters have been kidnapped behind living that life. Sisters have been, they're 6 feet under in the grave behind that life. You know what I'm saying? Just because, this life is serious, and you have to take it serious and everything. But y'all, do better in life, man, and want better and maintain, and let's live upon the truth of life and the way of life of being real and truthful. But y'all have a blessed day. I'll be dropping more content. Y'all like, comment, subscribe, get my messages out there, even if you share them on your Instagram stories, little small clips, you know what I'm saying? Let's build this channel and, let's keep this stuff going, growing and glowing. And, I'm going to get better and better with my content. I'm still getting used to doing videos and everything, but I feel I can get better with speaking through these videos the more I continue to, keep it organized and stay on flow and keep this stuff going. But y'all have a blessed day, man. Y'all have a great day. Let's elevate out here. Let's become better version of ourselves. And let's be different from the world and put God first. Y'all have a blessed day.